I guess we're doing our dynasty stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Drafted Up podcast. Way to go, Nick. Smooth move there.
Mine didn't have a countdown. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, man. We're a podcast, obviously, based on fantasy football, NFL draft, but we're in the midst of it here in fantasy football season. Nick fucked up the intro, but hey, we went 16 episodes before we screwed up on the intro here, so I'll take that as a big dub.
Listen, I had no countdown on my iPad. I don't know what to tell you. I'm trying to get out of airplane mode on a phone. We got it.
Nick's unprepared. I'm Theo. That's Nick. You can follow us over on Twitter at @DraftedUp_pod. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Search Drafted Up Podcast. We do pop up. I double check to make sure so I'm not misleading you guys and you just really have to dig in to find us. But we're there. We're ready to go. Today, we got we're going to do some keep, trade, cut scenarios. We got 8 of them. So that's going to be fun, kind of discuss guys with similar ADPs or similar situations, kind of give our thoughts on there and who'd we take, who'd we get rid of, all that good stuff. Before we dive in onto that, we started our dynasty draft last week, and we're almost done.
I say we're flying through. I think we have 3 teams left to pick.
Done. Yeah, I've been done for a while.
Yeah. I made my last pick, I think, earlier this morning. So I'm done.
You happy with your guys? Who'd you get
I
so
love
far?
it. I ended up trading up. I had pick 8 in the first round, traded up to 5 to get Malik Neighbors because some crazy reason he fell to 5.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
we were both trying to trade up for that spot.
Yeah, we were. I traded 1, 8, and Cooper Kupp straight up for pick 5, and got Malik Neighbors. Big fan, love it. Who else did I end up with? Really blanking, drawing a blank here because I'm looking at the draft board and I don't see my name anywhere on here.
Yeah,
It's very hard to read.
Team.
Yeah, I know I got Michael Penix. Yep. Great audio. Great audio.
You got Marshawn Lloyd.
Yep.
Marshawn Lloyd.
Traded with you to get Marshawn Lloyd.
Yes. With my stretch of second round picks where I had 3 in a row and
unbelievable.
Jermaine Burton, Carl Granderson, the edge rusher from the Saints,
the
Terrell Bernard, the linebacker from the Bills, and Keaton Mitchell, running back from the Ravens for whatever reason, unkept.
I ended up just picking him, stashed him on my IR, and I'm going to pick up another guy. There was no reason he was still there in our draft, and he's not going to play at all on my team. My team's stacked. I had Barkley, Eckler, McCaffrey. Yeah, guys.
Good piece to have future-wise. Like, he could be the Ravens' future running back down the line, or even if Derrick Henry gets hurt,
man,
he could slide in, and he was great last year. Like, if guys get hurt on your team, he could fall into a spot.
Oh, yeah. But the size of our rosters, we're constantly throwing guys on our IR. We need backups to backups, and it's a dynasty league. So, hey, man, I'm all for having Keaton Mitchell on my bench and storing him.
Yeah. I loved how my draft turned out. I got my dude, first round, pick 10, Brian Thomas Jr.
Yes, you did.
I told everybody here I'm going to try to get as many stocks in the BTJ fund, and we're 1 for 1 so far, baby. I traded for Amari Cooper during the draft. Loved that. For me, got rid of Chris Godwin and Josh Downs for Cooper and I think it was a pick. So love that. Also made a move, traded T. Higgins and Jamison Williams, and brought back Nick Chubb. I also traded Nick Chubb in that trade. Got Ty Chandler, got DJ Moore, got a draft pick. So I got some guys that I was trying to get rid of, brought in some new faces here. Like I said, drafted Brian Thomas Jr. I got Jaden Daniels. I also got Drake May. Jalen Hurts was the only quarterback starting-wise on my roster. We have Justin Fields. I got Broncos backup Jaleel McLaughlin. He was there. Jalen Wright. I'm just stocking up on all the Mike McDaniel guys, as I also have Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill and Devon Achane. Got them, and I got Javon Baker and Troy Franklin, Dallas Turner, Jaquan Brisker, who was on my team, but I didn't have enough spots to keep him, and luckily I was able to bring him back, young safety from the Bears. I loved how my draft turned out. Stacked roster. Looking to repeat, baby.
Not if I have anything to say about that. I'm coming hard, baby. I'm hella upset I have McCaffrey and I didn't walk away with the title last year. Didn't even make it to the championship. It's insane.
Me versus Merck, baby.
I'll be damned if it happens again. But hey, man, I won Ziffle, so I can't be too angry.
Yeah. I finally won the Dynasty League. I've been in the top 3 for like the last
year.
3 years. No, there was a year or two where I like was mid tier, like it was early.
I
But I
mean,
drafted for the future.
this was
I
what, our
boosted up
ninth year?
eighth.
Eighth?
Yeah. Yeah, but I've stockpiled picks. Like I've really, and I've drafted well, and it's really helped me here build a powerhouse, and I hope it continues. I hope to repeat, because I think you're the only one who's repeated in the league.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. All right, there we go. A little look in on our real life stuff.
If no one's played, like if you have no experience in Dynasty League and you just go do a Dynasty League. Dynasty Leagues are great. You get to keep your team. You get to really invest in this team. You get to invest in players over the course of their career if you really want to. I have Malik Nate. I paid $100 for Saquon Barkley 7 years ago. And goddamn it, I fucking love that guy every day since.
Fun fact, I have the exact date our league started.
Oh, that's fancy.
It was this will be our 7th season.
Okay. Fair enough.
Because on my team logo I have established 6/12/17.
Oh, you weirdo.
Yeah. So 7 years. Yeah, but Dynasty Leagues are cool because like you can kind of figure out how you want to build your team. Do you want to win now, draft some older guys, or you want to kind of play to get some young guys and play for the future?
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool, and like I said, if you've never done it, just try to just draft like a redraft league essentially, but maybe like move some of the younger guys up where you would take an older guy who's better. Like that's really it. Like, and there's multiple ways. We do 2 Dynasty Leagues on Flea Flicker. The original one with a couple buddies from a wrestling forum, and then the one I run. We do it rookies and vets. Any free agents are in the draft, but there's Dynasty Leagues where it's just rookies.
Mm-hmm.
Like we did our rookie mock, Dynasty mock last week, the 3-rounder.
Yeah, where you're just drafting just the rookies.
Yeah. Dynasty Leagues are super fun. It's a nice change of pace to redraft. Like I still prefer redraft leagues. I'm a sucker for the OG, but I do love a good Dynasty League. If you can get some good like competitive guys who are willing to make moves, like that's the fun part about Dynasty League. You got to have people who are involved. Like
definitely. Well,
you're wheeling dealing.
That's almost
just
the
like
point of a Dynasty League is it's to keep you entertained through the off season, to get you ready for redraft leagues, because in the off season that's when you're making moves to get ready for next season. You're having your draft. You could theoretically have the draft the day after the real draft if you really wanted to. There's nothing stopping you. The Dynasty League, it keeps you really involved during the whole offseason. Highly recommend.
And it helps with the draft process because, like, when I'm scouting guys, like, I'm looking from a real-life perspective, but I'm also looking at fantasy. Like, there can be guys who obviously aren't great real-life players, but they're productive fantasy guys. And vice versa. There's guys who are incredible football players who don't provide much fantasy upside.
Yeah. Real football, fantasy football, completely different. But then you get the whole in-between where it's like, oh, this guy's just a really good football player in general.
Yep. Yeah. I love it. If you've never done Dynasty League, find one. And if you need to start one yourself. Like, running a league's tough.
Hit us up. There's a good chance we join.
Yeah. I'm in to do another one. I will never. There's never enough leagues.
No, we're suckers for this shit, bro.
Yeah, we did a 32-man Dynasty League, two of them last year. I won one, which was awesome.
You won one, and I think I made it to the championship of the one, or the conference championship. It was crazy. They were insane, dude.
Yeah, they're tough, but all right, let's dive into the keep, trade, cut. It's pretty much just like marry, fuck, kill, that kind of stuff. You know, we're gonna 3 guys. We're gonna keep one of them. We're going to trade off one of them, and then we're just letting one go into the distance. Goodbye.
And now this is purely for this season. It's not. It's for redraft leagues. It's not for Dynasty. It's not going.
Yep.
Oh, well, in 4 years from now, this guy has a high. No, none of that.
Yeah.
It's just for this season.
We're looking at a redraft perspective, looking at it as in this bubble, you have all 3 guys available to you. And I'll start it off with a wide receiver one. So we're going to do 2 wide receivers. Nick did a wide receiver grouping. I did a wide receiver. We each did a running back, and we each did a flex. And then I did quarterbacks. He did tight ends. So we're just going to kind of go down the line. We're going to start with my receivers. I titled this one The Old Reliables. These are 3 dudes who are 30 or older. And we got Las Vegas Raiders, Devontae Adams, whose current ADP on Sleeper is 17th overall. We got Stephon Diggs, now of the Houston Texans, current ADP is 27.9, and Mike Evans of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who is ADP is 30.2 overall. So, Nick, I'll throw it to you here. Keep cut trade, Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, Stephon Diggs.
Man, you hit me with Mike Evans, and you know I'm a huge fucking sucker for Mike Evans, dude.
I know you love Mike.
I love Mike Evans. I will go to war with that. I would lead into battle with Mike Evans if I had to. So keep, trade, cut. Damn, that's really hard. All right, so I'm keeping Adams, dude. I think Adams is having a huge season. Almost underrated at this point, which is insane to think about because he's still arguably one of the best receivers in football skill-wise. And even in Oakland, he put up, I think, 1,100 yards last year with a shitty-ass quarterback. And now he got an upgraded version of that shitty-ass quarterback. I think he's going to ball. I'm going to trade Mike Evans, unfortunately, all based off that huge season he had last year. He rode me to a championship in the 2 leagues. One of them in Ziffel. Like I mentioned earlier, I had Mike Evans all year. I'm going to take Evans and trade him off, try to get something big. I'm just going to cut Diggs. He's in a heavy receiver room. No one's even sure he's going to be the lead target, even the second leading target. And then you got Joe Mixon in the backfield. Don't get me wrong. I'm trying to grab any piece of Houston's offense. Them in Green Bay, I really trying to tie myself to this offseason. But I'm just going to end up cutting Diggs. So I'm keeping Devontae Adams, trading Mike Evans after his huge season last year, and then I'm cutting Diggs on his new team in Houston.
Yeah. Steph Diggs is such an enigma.
Yeah.
Like, I love Steph Diggs, former Viking. Like, I know it went haywire, but hey, got us Justin Jefferson. It worked out for Buffalo in the end.
Yeah.
And, they had to move on from him. Diggs seems to be like a problematic. He seems to be your typical wide receiver, little drama boy. But he left kind of a sour taste in people's mouth.
Yeah.
Based off last year after Buffalo moved on from Ken Dorsey and moved to Joe Brady, and Diggs pretty much became irrelevant in the offense fantasy wise, but still had a productive season. Now he goes to Houston in a very crowded room, so it's kind of mucky there. Diggs is my cut, despite all that. I'm actually keeping Mike Evans. I love
it.
I actually think Devontae Adams is being a little overvalued right now. Like, I don't know. I'm just worried about the wall coming, and I just don't trust the Vegas situation. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I just fear like I could see it going bad this year in Vegas, and we could see a mid-season trade for Devontae Adams to somewhere, not the Jets. I mean, everyone's going to say the Jets.
Everyone's going to say the Jets, yeah.
But I'm thinking someplace like Detroit or Dallas, someone who's trying to make that next, like they're teetering on like clinching the one spot in their conference or winning their division, a situation like that.
Understandable. But hey, man,
so I'm gonna
if you throw out Devontae Adams and Dallas, and those two things are in the same sentence, I'm all in on that, dude.
Yeah, that'd be scary.
Who you double covering? Adams or CD, dude, and they're fucking with Dak, dude. Woo.
Yep. Yeah. And Mike Adams has familiarity. Mike McCarthy. Maybe I'm starting a rumor here.
We're breaking it first.
Here we go. I'm breaking, yeah. But yeah, I'm going to keep Mike Evans. I think Mike Evans is going to have a good year again with Baker. I'm going to trade off Devontae Adams. Name value, I think I could get a decent haul back for him, and I'm just going to move on from Steph Diggs. Too mucky there in Houston.
Yeah,
for
understandable.
my liking to really bet on Steph Diggs.
Understandable. And anyone's going to bite on the Devontae Adams trade. He's a huge name. People know him still from Green Bay and Rodgers and all those. And hey, man, he still had a decent year last year in Oakland with absolutely nothing around him.
And he's still the guy there. Like,
and you even add Brock Bowers, who's going to take a little bit of the coverage away. Hopefully Michael Mayer gets on the field a little bit more this season. Oakland's got a little bit something going on.
Jacoby Myers was nice too last year.
Jacoby Myers was very nice last year. He was a very good guy. I had him on one of those 32 teams.
When Garoppolo was in. Not so much when Aiden O'Connell took over.
Very true. Mustache didn't really care for Myers.
Let's hear your running back scenario.
All right, we're jumping to my running backs. I did most of mine based off a very similar ADP. So I grouped 3 running backs that are going later mid-roundish. The first one is draft position 709 is Tony Pollard, newly of the Tennessee Titans. 2 picks later at 711, Raheem Mostert of the Miami Dolphins.
And always open.
And then 2 picks after that, Najee Harris of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So there's just 6 picks separating these 3 guys, and all 3 are gonna, I think, have pretty good years. So I'm kind of putting you in a predicament of just 3 solid late round guys.
So normally, first jump the gun, like I was like, I'll trade Mostert, but he's older. Last year was real like touchdown. Like, I mean, he had a great year, but like 18 touchdowns, that's hard to replicate. Miami drafted Jalen Wright, Devon Achan's there. Like, I don't know how much people would jump to trade for Raheem Mostert. Tony Pollard, I picked him last year in our main redraft league, Ziffel, and it did not go well. 2nd round pick. Like, I got great value for him, but it just did not work out. But I do like Tony Pollard better as a number 2. Well, not a number 2, but like not the guy. Like, they're going to split time there, him and Tajay Spears. So I do like Pollard still, despite him breaking my heart last year. Najee's a guy I've never been able to get behind. But the Arthur Smith situation there, tracked year, he's playing for his next contract, whether it be possibly Pittsburgh bringing him back or him moving on elsewhere. So he needs to have a really good year, else he's done as a RB1 or even just like a predominant back, like the leader of a committee. Like, he'll be a 2 if he's bad this year. So I'm going. This is tough.
I gave you 3 guys that are almost just right there. It's that ADP, baby. And ADP, for those who isn't aware, it's average draft position or pick. It's where they're getting drafted right now in leagues.
So I'm going to keep Tony Pollard. I'm going to trade Raheem Mostert. I'm going to cut Najee Harris, even though I originally said I wouldn't trade him. I think I can get more for Mostert than I can the other 2 guys, based off of last year and him being still the RB1 in Miami as of now. So I'm going to bank on name value there. I'm going to keep Tony Pollard in hopes that a lighter workload produces the same similar stats that he had in Dallas when he was backing up Zeke, which was really productive, really good for fantasy, good flex option. I'm going to drop Najee Harris. I just don't trust him being the guy. I think Jalen Warren's the better back there. And I'm going to try to trade Mostert off that 18 touchdown season.
Reasonable. I can't trade away a piece of that Miami offense, so that's how I'm looking at it. I gotta keep Mostert.
Okay.
I gotta keep a piece of him. The way I'm looking at this is you want to be able to see the pathway for the guy. Well, this guy's in Miami. His pathways, it's lit. It's right there. There's no question what it's going to be. It's not going to be 18 touchdowns. It's not.
No.
It's not. Is it going to be 12? Maybe. Sure, and I'll take 12. I'll happily take 12. I'll take 10. I'll take 8. It is what it is. I'll take any of my 8 touchdowns for a 7th, 8th round pick. I'll take that. And he's part of the Miami offense. He's going to be their leading back carry-wise. A-Chain's not going to have more carries than Mostert. So I'm going to keep Mostert. I think he's going to be the most productive this season. Man, I don't think you're really going to get much out of the trade value on Pollard or Najee.
Not now.
I think I'm going to try to trade Najee, though, just based off of him being in Pittsburgh.
Try to sell that Arthur Smith offense.
And let me tell you something. If someone's selling Najee, I'm buying. So that's why I'm selling Najee in this scenario. Because I know there's idiots like me out there that are like, Najee. You go, yeah, he's getting all the carries, baby. I'm out here gobbling Najee up in best ball, though. I can tell you that much. But I'm gonna keep Raheem Mostert, which is a bit of a shock for me. I've never really been high on Mostert. I'm going to try to pawn off Najee to someone who's an idiot like me. And then I'm going to cut Tony Pollard, unfortunately. But I do really like all 3 of these guys going forward this year. They're good middle, late round picks. Not late, but you can get them before the 9th, which is really good for a starting flex guy. Mostert could be an RB2. Shit, he was the top 5 back last year. So, hey, man, Mostert could really, really spike high if he has another season like he did last year.
Yeah, Mostert's an intriguing name. Like, I know, like, he's going right now in the 7th round, but like, I could see him going anywhere from like the 5th to the 9th. Like, there's a wide range for him. Just like I said, you want a piece of Miami's offense. Yeah. He's the most proven running back wise. Yeah, there, like, he's worth taking that bullet and taking that. But like, I missed on my 5th round pick.
See, I would say it's. A person who had Mostert last year is going to really try to overreach on Mostert. But if you look at how his season played out last year, he really stumbled towards the back end of the season. So he really didn't win anyone a championship like McCaffrey. But he got you there. He rode that bus all the way to the championship. And I think he's played 16 or 17 games the last 2 seasons, so he's not really been hurt the last 2 seasons. So, hey, man, as long as he's on the field for Miami, he's going to be an RB2 in fantasy.
Yeah. All right, let's move on here to my flex. I titled this one the number 2 Blues. These guys are all number 2 options, whether it be running backs or receivers on their current team. ADPs are all similar. First one, the only wide receiver of the bunch is New Orleans Saints wide receiver Rashid Shaheed, whose current ADP is about 143.1. Second is Dallas Cowboys running back Rico Dowdle. His ADP is 145. And then the third option is running back for the Minnesota Vikings, Ty Chandler at 147.
Man, this guy had to get Ty Chandler's name onto a show. Okay, I see what just happened here. Okay.
Which is funny because I did change it right before the show. I had Jahan Dotson there, but I'm like, that one's too... Like, he's got the rookie quarterback. Like, why are you buying in on Jahan Dotson this year at least? Whereas Ty Chandler probably has a little bit more opportunity.
I will quick say this about Jahan Dotson. He is going in like the 15th to 16th round, which are the 2 last rounds of a draft.
That is worth the dart throw.
Incredible value. His rookie season, he had 7 touchdowns, 8 touchdowns. With a rookie quarterback, anything can change. We don't know how he's going to play.
Yeah.
He can revert to his rookie year where he had 600, close to 600 yards, 7, 8 touchdowns.
Yeah. He's worth that dart throw because he has a big week 1. Cool, you got a guy that you can either keep or sell.
Yep.
Or if he has a bad week, you cut him and he's just you're picking up the hot waiver wire pickup.
Yep.
So yeah, there we go. We got flex position here: wide receiver Rashid Shaheed, running back Ty Chandler, running back Rico Dowdle. These guys is obviously for a bench spot, but what you doing here?
Oh man! Initial thought, I was keeping Ty Chandler just right off the bat. I heard his name, I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep Ty Chandler just based off of my Viking player reports. Every Vikings player has come out and backed this guy, which is incredibly scary if you have any type of Aaron Jones value. If you are tied to Aaron Jones and you keep seeing these every day, a new Ty Chandler report pops up. Every single day, one pops up. But I've been
hyping Ty Chandler since the start of the podcast, baby.
It's just based off this year, so I have to take Rashid Shaheed. I really think out of these 3 guys, preferably, I think he's going to have a good season where he's going to see a lot of targets in New Orleans behind Chris Olave. And then after him, it's like A.T. Perry, a rookie. They don't have much.
Bub Means.
Yeah, okay. Yep. I knew they had a rookie. I was really blanking. Of course, they have Alvin Kamara, who's going to eat up targets out of the backfield. Their tight end game is weak. They still have Johnson and what is that guy's name? Taysom Hill. That's that guy's name. I hate that guy. He's just out here fiending fantasy points from everybody.
Yeah, now he's getting work out of the backfield, so
he's getting like
vulture and touchdowns.
Yeah, he's getting like strict carries, like straight carries out of the backfield. It's crazy.
Goal line back. Scary if you have Kendre Miller.
Indeed. Ooh,
the Saints have Cedric Wilson Jr. Big fan.
Cool. Me too. And he does nothing every single year.
And Equanimous St. Brown.
Yep. I like his brother.
Stanley Morgan Jr. That guy's a lawyer.
I was going to say, that sounds like a paper company.
Mason Tipton.
Yep. These guys
Jermaine
aren't even...
Jackson.
You could be naming
Kyle
fake
Sheets.
people. You guys could be naming fake people. And you could just be naming like historical war veterans. And I would be like, I have no idea who these people are. Rashid Shaheed, I'm definitely keeping. I think he's got a real good value in this year's redraft leagues. I don't think Ty Chandler's got any type of trade value. No one, to us, we have a ton. But Rico Dowdle, he plays for Dallas. But he plays for Dallas.
Okay.
And that's what I'm going off of, where I can just be like, oh, hey, this guy plays for Dallas, bro. Zeke's Zeke. I'm taking Zeke over Dowdle this year. But I know there's a lot of people out there who are taking Rico over Zeke just based off of age and potential. I know you're one of them.
This guy.
But I'm going to try to trade Rico. I think out of him and Ty, he's got the most value, unless I'm trading to you. If I could pick my trade partner, I'm picking you, and I'm trading Ty Chandler. But Rico, I think, would be the general view of like a normal person. Someone who doesn't know too much about football would be taking Rico over Ty.
Yeah. So I feel I play this game every year with Vikings running backs. Last year was Alexander Madison.
Yeah.
Loved him. Great backup running back. He got to be the guy, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Ty Chandler, though, he looked great last year when he was in. He's still the backup, though, so I'm still in. I think Ty Chandler, I'm not buying any stock in Aaron Jones at his current ADP. I think it's like round 6.
It's too high.
I'm shying away. Ty Chandler, I want as many stocks as I can get in that dude. I think he's going to play a part. Kevin O'Connell likes him. You've read the reports. I've been driving that Ty Chandler bus since last year. But, man, do I love Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah.
Not as much as Derek Carr does, though.
Oh, yeah.
Derek Carr loves hucking chucking to this dude downfield. So I'm in agreement with you. I'm keeping Rashid Shaheed. I think he is a dark horse 1,000-yard candidate this year.
But on like a minimum catches, he's gonna have one of those seasons if he does
60 max catches.
But you really seen it. Like Carr should really be peppering that ball to Olave, and he's just not. He's just like
no.
Like the saying should be, fuck it, Olave's down there somewhere. No, he's somewhere on the field. He'll catch it. And you're like, what the fuck is Carr doing?
Like,
hey, man.
Rashid Shaheed has this big boom play. Like, he could score a touchdown any time he touches the ball. And I want that kind of volatility in my lineup. Because, like, that could win you a week. I don't think Ty Chandler or Rico Dowdle possess that ability. I'm going to trade Chandler, though. I'm going to be sending these reports to people, be like, hey, look at this, look at these reports, look at Ty Chandler, like Stuart. I'm a Vikings fan. Why? I'm not going to sell you wrong on Ty Chandler. That's my dog. And then, of course, they could look at it and be like, well, why are you trying to trade him then? But hey, I'm just trying to help everybody out, man, trying to make the league better.
Yeah.
I'm going to cut Rico Dowdle. I do think Rico Dowdle is going to be as relevant in this offense as Ezekiel Elliott, but there's a world where he just does what he did last year, which was like 400 yards, and he's just pretty irrelevant, and Zeke snipes the catches and the touchdowns.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but keep Shaheed, trade Chandler, cut Rico Dowdle.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Hit me up with your tight end.
All right, here we go. The theme here, I got a rookie, I got a guy that's played 1 year, and I got a guy that's played 2 years.
Okay. Little 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. The rookie, Brock Bowers, his average draft position 7th round, 7th pick. First year, he played 1 year. Dalton Kincaid last year. His average draft stock is 5.04, so the 4th pick of the 5th round. And then the guy that's been playing for 2 years, going on to his 3rd, Trey McBride, T McB out of Arizona, baby.
Okay. So now this one you got to
3 elite young talent tight ends.
Yeah. So you got a guy whose ADP's the 3rd round, a guy who's the 5th round, and a guy who's the 7th?
4th.
Okay.
The back end of the 4th, early 5th, early 7th.
Okay, I thought McBride was in the 3rd. All right.
He's 4.8, so it's the back end of the 4th.
All right. I really think Dalton Kincaid is going to blow up this year. I think he's the guy who's going to get all these vacated targets in Buffalo left behind from Steph Diggs and Gabriel Davis. So off the bat, I'm keeping him. No brainer. Mm-hmm. I think Dalton Kincaid's going to win people championships at the tight end position. Like, I think he's the guy. You want a piece of Buffalo, just like you do Miami and all those other high-powered offenses. Get the guy who likely gets the big targets. Like, Curtis Samuel could lead the team in targets, but he's not going to get great fantasy targets. Either will Keon Coleman's going to get some touchdown stuff. Mm-hmm. Khalil Shakir is going to get in the middle, but like, I think Dalton, he gets everything. He's going to be peppered anywhere. He can get touchdowns. He can get yak stuff. So I'm going to take the guy who I project to be Josh Allen's number 1 receiver. I'm going to trade Trey McBride. He's great. I think you could sell off, like, hey, he's, Marvin Harrison's going to take away coverage from him. So he's going to have more opportunities. He's got Kyler for the full year. And I'm going to cut Brock Bowers because we're just going off this year. Rookie tight ends usually don't produce. I know last year Sam Laporta had an incredible year, but I think Bowers, it's tough. Like, Devontae Adams is there. They want to run the ball. Like, who knows where his opportunities come. He's also got the weakest quarterback amongst the grouping. So I'm going to keep Dalton Kincaid, trade Trey McBride, cut Brock Bowers.
Pretty close to what I was looking at, but I would keep Trey McBride. I think he's got a really good pathway to being the best tight end in football this year. I think in Arizona's offense, I think with Marvin Harrison now, he's going to be seeing a lot of the coverage, which leaves McBride being open. And then they added Trey Benson in the run game with James Conner, so they're going to be running, which also helps McBride out getting open. I think he's got the clear path to being one of the top 2 or 3 tight ends for sure. To where Kincaid, I do like Kincaid a lot. I just don't think it's going to be that. I think it's a lot easier for McBride to be the top tight end than Dalton Kincaid this year. And unfortunately, I'm going to cut Brock Bowers. Nothing against the guy.
Yeah.
It's his rookie season. I want to see what he does. Though I do think you would be able to trade him. I don't know if he could probably trade a little bit higher than Kincaid if you get the right person. It depends on what it would be.
Yeah, but Kincaid's got Josh Allen. I think that's your selling point for
and
all those
point,
vacated targets. I think you could pull the haul back for Dalton Kincaid.
I think you're getting a whole lot for Kincaid, especially the tight end. After there's like 4 or 5 guys, and after that you got a couple guys left, and then it's just kind of weird. It gets really weird in like the 12, 13, 14 range, and
like I'm always a proponent to punt the position, but like I don't want to punt it too far. I don't want to wait too long because then I'm there looking like, oh, do I take Pat Fryermuth, who I think is gonna have a nice year? Do I roll the dice on Ben Sinnott, my dude from the Manders? Hunter Henry's always just kind of a guy like you can count on him to get your fantasy points.
He's good for 8 points, maybe. It's just...
it's tough if you like miss out on those like first like 8 guys.
Yeah, last year I straight up punted the tight end position, and I ended up getting extremely lucky in landing Njoku in a trade. And having a reliable tight end that I didn't have to like worry about, look at waivers for, it's such a relief, dude. Like Njoku was crazy last year in the back end of the season.
I lucked into Evan Ingram in the 8th round last year, and I was targeting Njoku, and I think it was Bill picked him like a pick or 2 before me, so I'm just like, I guess I'm taking Evan Ingram, which was a huge shot in the dark because he had that really good rookie year, and then he was really good the year, not 2 years ago in Jacksonville, his first year
in Jacksonville. Yeah.
So it's like, do you want to buy into Evan Ingram? Like that's a tough thing to do, and it worked. He was great last year.
Over 100
I'm
catches.
in on him this year too. Yeah, but. Yeah, no, tight end position better than it's been in the past, but still, like, there's still, like, 12-team leagues. There's going to be 3 or 4 teams who are going to be scouring the waiver wire for guys.
Yeah, and that's what it is. You're going to have a lot of teams that are set at tight end. You're really fucked, though, if some team, like, snags 2. You're like, whoa. Because then you're just like, shit, that adds another team that has 2, and now another team enters the free agent pool every week. If you have 4 teams fighting for free agent tight ends, it's not a pretty sight.
No, for sure. But also, little just draft tidbit. This has nothing to do with it, but you said like if a team takes 2, don't let that force your hand.
Oh yeah,
a little bit of draft. Like don't be like, well now I have to take a tight end. Like I have to. No, try to punt the position. Like don't turn down better value just because you have to get a guy. Punt it. Try to throw a dart throw. Work the way. Sometimes it hits. Sometimes it doesn't. But you can maneuver around tight ends. I've done it. Like you can just plug and chug a guy in, and it'll get you by.
Yeah, the single spot positions being quarterback, tight end, kicker, and defense, you can all punt them. You can all run them on the waiver wire. Quarterback's a little bit harder, of course, because they're quarterbacks, but it's doable. I've won a championship with garbage at quarterback because it gives you such a chance to have such a deep bench. Echoing. Oh, there we go.
My ear itched. Sorry.
No, you're good. But yeah, if you punt one of those positions, it adds almost 2 really good bench players to your team, which then you're set depth-wise.
Yeah, especially if you hit on those guys. If you hit on the guys that you punted for, like you're golden. Yep. Speaking of quarterbacks, let's do them. I got 3 former number 1 picks. So we got the most recent number 1 pick, Caleb Williams, whose current ADP is 94.
You're going back. Oh man, we thought they were going to be good people.
We got Jared Goff, whose current ADP is 110, and then we got Trevor Lawrence, whose current ADP is 127. Who'd you think I was doing?
You were like first overall picks. I'm like, I'm gonna hear like Burrow and like these elite talents, and you started off with Caleb Williams, who's never played it down, and then you hit me with Jared Goff, who
would I would do Burrow with who though?
Well, Lawrence. I figured Lawrence was gonna be in there.
Kyler Murray.
When you said Caleb Williams, I for sure figured fucking little boy Bryce Young was going to be the next name out of your mouth. And I would have been like, what the fuck am I doing with Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, and Baker Mayfield? I don't want any of those three quarterbacks on my team.
You're really selling. You're really not. You're really low on Caleb, who actually is the better ADP of the three guys. So repeat, that's Caleb Williams, Jared Goff, and Trevor Lawrence that we're looking at here.
And I think that's insane. And I am a believer in Caleb Williams. I'm a believer in the Bears. I honestly believe that they can make the playoffs this year. I truly believe that. I'm taking Jared Goff. Jared Goff is my keeper right off the bat, just based off of him getting the new deal. I know the offense. I know what I'm getting at Jared Goff at home. At home, you can start Jared Goff and you're getting 20 points every week. Doesn't matter.
And Ben Johnson came back. Like, that guy could have got a lot of money as a head coach, and he chose to go back to be the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
That says a lot about how he feels about the Detroit offense, led by Jared Goff, and how he feels about Dan Campbell as well. Like, he wants to be there. It's a culture thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that says a lot. I
agree. I think Goff's set in stone this year. He's got a great offense. He's got Sam Laporte. He's got Amon-Ra. He's got one elite fantasy running back, and then David Montgomery, who is an amazing real-life football player. That dude is so good.
He had like 12 or 13 touchdowns last year.
Oh, yeah.
Fantasy player, too.
He's going to do it again. I love David Montgomery. Trevor Lawrence, though, dude, he snake bit me last year. I'm still a little bit sour on that. He was my guy last year. If we were doing this come last year, I would have been on this podcast hard about Trevor Lawrence, and you need to go out and get him. You need to get him. You need to get Trevor Lawrence, any type of state, and he dropped the ball. All of Jacksonville dropped the ball. I can't believe in it. But I think, man, I guess you could trade Caleb Williams for more than Trevor Lawrence, but that seems crazy to me. I think I would rather Trevor Lawrence.
It's crazy in the world of fantasy, like when a guy gets hyped up and they're just like, this is the dude, and it skyrockets his ADP and he doesn't hit, how much he falls. Like Jahan Dotson last year.
Yeah.
His ADP, like if you were buying in, second year player, had a great rookie year. His ADP was like 6th, 7th round at like the minimum.
Yeah.
And he didn't hit, and now he's like almost undrafted.
Oh, yeah.
Gabe Davis didn't hit. Had a high ADP last year, wasn't good. He's in that undrafted range. Quarterback, same way. Trevor Lawrence was like, hey, he's a top 3 quarterback, doesn't hit, and now he's down here like QB 13, QB 14. Like, he's not a QB 1 in drafts. Like, it's just crazy how the world of fantasy works like that. Where like
Justin Herbert,
guys boost up. Justin Herbert, his is more situational of the running. Like Harbaugh's situation, because like Herbert had a nice year last year.
Yeah, but he didn't hit as his ADP was.
No,
he was
he was drafted as like QB 3 or 4. Yeah.
And he stumbled. He stumbled a lot, but now you're looking at Herbert's like the 16th quarterback taken, and I'm like, Herbert, and it falls back on. At the end of the day, Herbert's still an elite quarterback, and he's gonna put up points. It doesn't matter who he's throwing the ball to; he's still the guy. Trevor Lawrence has great weapons. Caleb Williams has great weapons. I guess you could trade Caleb Williams for more, so I'm going to trade Caleb Williams because people like the new. I would personally rather have Trevor Lawrence this year than Caleb Williams.
So there's going to be a time where we do a bold predictions episode of this show, and one of my bold predictions may very well be that Trevor Lawrence is going to have 5,000 passing yards this year. I adore this offense. Like I think the only thing they haven't, like Trevor Lawrence, like they haven't got him like proper weapons to stretch the field. They got him 2 dudes this year. 2. Gabe Davis, Brian Thomas Jr. You guys know how I feel about Brian Thomas Jr. I'm the opposite of Gabe Davis. He's just there. He lives. Christian Kirk is really good.
Christian Kirk's
Let's
so
not
good,
forget
dude.
he's there.
Christian Kirk is
there
so
too.
good.
Travis Etienne, really good running back. This offense at main position pieces have great options that people are sleeping on. Like Trevor Lawrence was the #1 pick. He had a really bad rookie year, Urban Meyer. His second year, first year under Doug Peterson, they went to the playoffs. It was great. Last year, bad year.
Stumbled.
I would buy in on Trevor Lawrence in Dynasty. If you can trade for him, get him if you can. I am going to keep Jared Goff though, based off the result that like Ben Johnson's there. Jared Goff to start the year, his first 2 games are really favorable. He's a really good, reliable fantasy quarterback. I won a money league with Jared Goff as my quarterback that one year. Like he's a guy you can rely on. Like You're usually not going to start Jared Goff and just be like, oh, that guy just had like a super dud week. Like, a bad week for Jared Goff, he's still probably getting close to his projection.
He's still fine. At the end of the day, he's fine on the road. He is what he is.
I'm going to do the same. I'm going to do the same as you. I'm going to trade for I'm going to trade Caleb Williams. I think he's got more trade value, which is dumb, but like,
it's dumb. Yeah,
he's the new act, and people are going to look at Trevor Lawrence last year and be like, that guy's ass.
Yeah.
So I'm going to unfortunately cut Trevor Lawrence. But yep. I'm really big on Trevor Lawrence this year. We'll do a bold predictions episode. I might not throw it because I told you guys here, but I haven't got to the Jags the stat out yet. So we'll see where I end up on Trevor Lawrence when I actually put in the numbers.
Yeah, I like Lawrence a lot. Always have. Being in the NFL, I really didn't care for Clemson. But hey, man, he's still an elite quarterback, and I love watching him.
Yeah. Hit me up with your flex.
Flex, guys. All right, so I wanted to look for guys that had the exact same ADP for flex, and all three of them are different positions. So I have a tight end, a running back, and a receiver, all at the same ADP, and the ADP is 6'11", so it's the second to last pick of the, it's the second to last pick of the 6th round. The guys are Evan Ingram of Jacksonville, who we just talked about, Jaden Reed of Green Bay, and then DeAndre Swift of Chicago.
Okay. Right off the dome, I think I'm set with this. I'm going to keep Evan Ingram. A tough position to get a reliable guy on. Was so close to breaking the receptions record for tight ends last year. He's the number 1 or number 2 option in this offense. Like, it's going to be back and forth between him and Christian Kirk. So there's a situation where Evan Ingram again puts up 100 catches, 800 yards. Like, he doesn't get touchdowns. He might not get touchdowns even still, but like, if his touchdowns go up even 2 or 3, like, you're looking at a top 3 tight end in fantasy at a position that's hard to find a reliable option. So I'm going to keep Evan Ingram. I'm going to who's DeAndre Swift and Jaden Reed. I'm going to trade Jaden Reed. Hot commodity.
Yeah, you're going to
part of the Green Bay crew. Like, he was the guy last year when Christian Watson. I personally think Christian Watson's going to be the number 1 receiver there this year. I think he's going to have a better year. I think both are going to be fantasy relevant though. Like, they're both going to be, flex guys, low end wide receiver 2s possibly at their ceiling. But I think Christian Watson has a way higher ceiling than I do Jaden Reed. So I'm going to sell Jaden Reed off. He was real strong last year, probably won some teams a title with Jordan Love. I'm going to cut DeAndre Swift. I've never been the biggest Swift guy. I also worry about Philadelphia just really producing these running backs like they did with Miles Sanders, and then he got a big contract in Carolina, was just cheeks. I worry that's possible for DeAndre Swift in a somewhat crowded running back room. Like, let's not forget Khalil Herbert's there. Roshan Johnson's there. Yeah. You've got a rookie quarterback. You got an average offensive line. Like, there's a lot to, like, I know the Bears are the bell of the ball right now, but there's a scenario where, like, it doesn't work, and it could be the running game who takes the biggest hit there. So I'm gonna move off DeAndre Swift. He doesn't always stay healthy. New situation. I'm worried about just last year being a real fluke year for him. So I'm going to move on from him. I'm going to trade Jaden Reed. I'm going to keep Evan Ingram.
I really wanted to substitute Swift out of here because I knew you were just going to cut him right off the bat. But I wanted to keep with the same ADP kind of thing. But I'm also cutting Swift. If you're looking at the past for all 3 guys, I think there's a really good chance, not a good chance, but out of the 3, he's in a crowded backfield. Like you said, there's going to be guys that can take carries. Injuries can pop up. They're going to be passing a lot. Not too much, but a decent amount. You have 3 receivers that need targets and a tight end who's going to eat up some targets.
Yeah, he's the riskiest pick.
I agree.
Of those 3.
I'm going to swap, though. I'm going to keep Jaden Reed, and I'm going to trade Evan Ingram. I think you can get a decent amount back from Evan Ingram just based on you're trading him to a team that needs a tight end. You're going to be looking for a team that's making a title run who doesn't have a tight end like I was last year, and I oversold for Njoku because I needed Njoku. So it is what it is. And again, I want Green Bay offense. I want Houston. I want Miami. And Jaden Reed is, in my eyes, is the guy in that offense. Christian Reed constantly gets hurt. He's not a guy. Yes, Christian Watson. He's not a guy I really want to just trust. I can't trust him until you show me.
That's fair.
I can trust you, Keenan Allen style. He was constantly hurt his first couple of years, and then he finally showed us, hey, I've been healthy the last 2 years, and Keenan Allen has never turned around. He's been going
Green
since.
Bay's done a lot of science stuff to figure out what's going on with Christian Watson's hamstring.
I have heard it's like an unbalanced thing. He runs unbalanced. He runs weird, messing up his hamstrings. He's just got to figure it out.
So we'll see if that works. All right. Running backs. We got my running backs and then your receivers to end it off.
Yes, sir.
My running backs just moved in. We got 3 guys, similar ADPs, all on new franchises. First one,
DeAndre Swift.
No. First one's an oldie, Austin Eckler, fantasy relevant guy for years. His current ADP, 95. He's now on the Washington Commanders. Next up, Zach Moss, now of the Cincinnati Bengals at 99, and Devin Singletary of your New York Giants at 106. Just moved in, new franchise running backs. What are you doing? Keep, trade, cut.
Just looking at these 3 names, it might be a legitimate sin to think about taking Singletary and Moss over Austin Eckler. Like, if you would have said that to someone last year, because just last year, Eckler's ADP was 3.
First round.
He was literally the third pick of the draft. It was like, oh, it's McCaffrey, Jefferson, and who? Austin Eckler. And you're like, what? Austin Eckler's going where now? It's the whole thing. He failed last year, and now he's just bombed. But then you're looking at Zach Moss, who's going to, I honestly think, get the bulk of the work in Cincinnati. You're looking at Devin Singletary, who I honestly think is getting the bulk of the work in New York. Eckler has Brian Robinson competing for a ton of carries in Washington. I think Eckler's going to see a ton of catches, but I would rather the bulk work from a running back because I think Moss is still going to see 30 catches, 40 catches. Singletary's going to be around the same. I'm going to... Fuck, dude.
I know you love both Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. I made this one tough for you.
I don't know which one to keep. I'm going to go biased. I'm keeping Devin Singletary.
Okay.
I think Zach Moss is a high-powered offense where they're going to be passing a ton to where Singletary's not going to be... Danny Jones ain't going to be passing the ball like Joe Burrow out there in Cincinnati. That's for damn sure. And as a Giants fan, I really hope to God he doesn't, ever. Just hand the ball off, brother. Turn around, hand the ball off. Throw to Malik Neighbors. You know your assignment, Danny Jones. I'm going to keep Devin Singletary, but then I'm looking at the trade options. Zach Moss doesn't have trade. No one wants Zach Moss unless you really know what you're talking about. Austin Eckler, there was a common household name in fantasy. I think I can get, not a whole bunch, but I'm going to get some type of return on Austin Eckler. So I'm going to trade Eckler. I'm going to cut Zach Moss. I'm sorry, Zach Moss. I'm sure you're listening. I know you're not, but I love you. And then Devin Singletary. And Devin Singletary, I'm going to keep my boy for the Giants.
And Zach Moss sends us our tweet, be like, yo, I was listening. I don't love you, though.
And you cut me, bro.
I'm going to keep Zach Moss in case he is listening.
Thank you.
I hold Cincinnati in the same regards as some of those other offenses. I want as many pieces as possible as I can get. Give me Zach Moss. Joe Mixon didn't put up the greatest numbers, but he was still a top 5 to 10 running back because he stays healthy. He's on the field. Zach Moss, when he was the guy in Indy,
it looked so good.
Putting up work.
So good.
Looked great. I'm actually going to trade Devin Singletary. I think I can get some value for him, kind of sell off like, hey, Barkley's gone. This is the guy. Like Tyrone Tracy, don't listen to Theo. That guy's an idiot. You know, he's not going to take care. Devin Singletary, familiar with Brian Dable. I bring that up all the time. Like, I think Devin Singletary's in line to have a really good year in New York. So I'm going to try to push like, hey, Barkley's not there. You want this guy. Like, the Giants love to run the ball. I'm going to cut Austin Eckler. I think he hit the H wall. I just don't think he looked good at all last year.
He looked so bad.
Like, and now he goes to a
Eckler.
team, like, I like Brian Robinson a lot more than I like Austin Eckler in fantasy this year. I just don't, I'm sorry. I just think Austin Eckler is donezo. So I'm going to let him go. I'm going to trade Devin Singletary. I'm going to keep Zach Moss in case he is listening. I love you.
You're taking the old dog out back and you're putting him down.
I am. Austin Eckler, he did me dirty last year.
Eckler has carried a ton of teams to championships, dude. He's a true legend of the fantasy game.
He loves fantasy football too.
He loves it. Yeah, he's a legit dude. Yeah. He's a good guy. Yeah. I hope to God for success, but hey, man, he was real bad last year.
Yep.
Prove us wrong though. You know, go out there and ball out, dude. Be Austin Eckler.
That running back wall is a thing. So we'll see what he does.
I'm gonna quick throw out. If anyone remembers Devin Singletary of last year with Houston, when he really took over, dude,
really good. When David Pierce wasn't playing, Devin Singletary was winning you games if you had him.
Yeah,
that's
he was
what
out there. Yeah. He was out there getting 20 points a game, man. I remember Merck had him, and he was dogging people, dude, with Devin Singletary. I'm like, what is going on, dude?
Yep, which is crazy because Devin Singletary never did that really in Buffalo.
No.
Like,
No.
he was always just him and James, just Bills running backs. James Cook just doesn't get touchdowns, so it's tough to score.
Josh Allen's out there hawking the touchdowns.
Let's main event. Wide receivers, what you got?
Main eventing it with the big 3-year going into the third year receivers. I got average draft position at first round pick 12, Garrett Wilson of the New York Jets. ADP second round, 8th pick, Chris Olave of the New Orleans Saints. And then two picks before Chris Olave, Drake London of the Atlanta Falcons. All going into the third year, all elite talents. I think all were top 12 picks. So again, Garrett Wilson of the Jets, Chris Olave of the Saints, Drake London of the Falcons.
Okay.
2 of them getting new quarterbacks this year. I mean, Rodgers was with the Jets last year, but he threw 4 fucking passes, dude.
Yeah. So initially, I was going to trade Drake London just right off the dome. Like that was my first thought because I could Cousins like every like Drake London's ADP is insane. Like you're drafting him at his ceiling essentially because that's tough. That is a tough sell for me.
You're essentially drafting him at like the 8th receiver, 9th receiver.
But I'm actually gonna cut him. I'm cutting Drake London.
You're cutting Drake London?
Oh. I'm gonna cut Drake London. So I got it down to Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson.
So hard. It's so hard. This is so hard.
Don't get me wrong. Any one of these 3 are worth the pick. Like I would understand if you drafted Drake London. Like he has wide receiver 1 upside with Kirk Cousins.
His ceiling's endless.
All the metrics are there. And the same is for Garrett Wilson. Like that dude could be the #1 fantasy wide receiver in football with Aaron Rodgers. Because like he's a target hog, like that dude's the guy on the offense. And Chris Olave, I don't know if he has wide receiver 1 upside with Derek Carr, because Derek Carr loves Rashid Shaheed. But Chris Olave might be your safest bet of them. Like he's gonna get his targets, he's gonna get his catch, he's gonna get his yards. But I'm gonna trade Olave. He's still got value. Like he's still the #1 in a team that's gonna pass the ball because they're likely gonna be down. And I'm keeping Garrett Wilson. I can't move on from that upside. Like I think Garrett Wilson, his upside is higher than Drake London's. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep Garrett Wilson. I'm going to cut Drake London, and I'm going to trade off Chris Olave.
All right, I'm going to trade Garrett Wilson. I'm going to take the Aaron Rodgers hype I'm going to take the Aaron Rodgers hype coming in. And everyone's loving the Jets, loving Garrett Wilson, loving Breece Hall, loving Aaron Rodgers, slinging the ball to them both. So realistically, there's also the receiving room's kind of weak. Mike Williams is all right. They drafted Malachi Corley. So Garrett Wilson.
Aaron Rodgers loves Tyler Conklin.
Yeah. But Garrett Wilson, he broke the rookie target record. I'm pretty sure he broke like target records for the first 2 years. He's getting targets regardless of if you get a point per target in some dumb league, Garrett Wilson's to be the first pick of the draft.
He's had like 300 targets in 2 years.
Yeah, it's insane. So am I keeping Chris Olave or keeping Drake London? Oh, do I take the ceiling or do I play it safe? I'm gonna play this one safe. I think Chris Olave is just a really safe bet. I think he's good. He's at the end of the day knows what he's doing. New Orleans has come out and said they're going to run new offense, and this is the first time since Sean Payton's been there, because last year it was still a Sean Payton guy. And now Chris Olave in motion he averages like the 3rd most yards per route. He route ran. I think Chris Olave has the ceiling to be a #1 receiver if New Orleans offense works out the way they say it is. But we hear that every year about offenses. Oh, we're doing this, we're doing that.
Dennis Allen's playing for his job too. Well, coaching for his job. He's not playing.
He's not playing, but Chris Olave is playing. And I think Chris Olave is playing well this year. So I'm unfortunately going to cut Drake London. Nothing against the guy. He really hasn't had the chance to shine like Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave had yet. But that's coming this year. Drake London's going to be put on the map this year, and it's going to come fast too.
But the excuses people make for Drake London, like, oh, he hasn't had a quarterback, all this. Garrett Wilson hasn't had a quarterback.
Neither has Garrett Wilson. Yeah.
And this dude's be putting up insane numbers. 1,000 yards every year. Former Vikings quarterback coach Clint Kubiak is the Saints offensive coordinator now. Kubiak, he ran a nice little offense in Minnesota. Well, helped. He was a real good in Kirk Cousins being there. And, hey, Justin Jefferson, maybe Chris Olave does boom this year. We'll see. I don't know. I don't trust Clint Kubiak, though. Let's not get that out of the way. But
yeah, if you have a chance to grab any of those 3 guys in a trade scenario for some dumb reason, someone's willing to trade one of those 3 guys, snag them. If you're getting to draft one of them and as the Garrett Wilson the back end of the first, Olave, London in the second, early third. Just stag them. They're gonna all be good this year. They're all dogs, dude.
I personally would not draft Drake London in the second round.
That's why I said early third.
Yeah,
I would take him early.
Yeah,
third.
if he falls into the third, then I'm looking at him.
Yeah, his ADP is too rich for me right now, but I'm kind of hoping it mellows down come like August.
Yep.
And
It's
stuff
possible
like
too, because that happens. Like there's a lot of risk still with Drake London. Like, what if Kirk Cousins' Achilles isn't healed up? Like Michael Penix is there though, so fuck it, we ball. I love Michael Penix, so
hell yeah, baby.
People want to bring that up, but like, hey, Michael Penix, really good quarterback.
He's
Kirk Cousins is able to play. I don't think Drake London takes too much of a hit with Michael Penix that he does with Kirk Cousins. Like, don't buy into that dip. If that dip happens, buy in on Drake London there, because I think Michael Penix can get him the ball.
Oh yeah, Michael Penix was arguably the most pro-ready quarterback besides Caleb Williams. Even a little bit more than Caleb Williams at some aspects. So if you get him on the field right away with Drake London, they're going to shine. But so is Kirk. Kirk's the ultimate pro. He knows what's going on.
Yeah, there we go. Episodes in the book, a little keep trade cut. Got a little look into our Dynasty League in the intro there. So fun stuff there. Next week, I don't know. We'll see what we come up with. There might not be an episode next week. Real busy week. Got some family coming in.
Yep.
So we might be on hiatus for a week. And maybe that's smart because it'll give us a week to actually plan what we want to do. Because I'm not sure. There's a bunch of stuff we could do. I don't want to do a mock yet.
No, we still also have to do like team roster breakdowns, like just going over teams
we'll be
in
doing,
general. And
closer to training camp, we'll do divisional stuff. We'll probably do like both East divisions.
Teams.
Do that fun stuff as well. And bowl predictions episode, like I said here, we'll have one of those. We'll do plant our flags, guys that we want.
Oh yeah,
all the stock in like
our
this year.
guys, guys like that. We'll be putting out stuff.
Got a lot of stuff.
We might miss next week though.
Yeah,
just a heads up.
Yep. The other week we did not give you an update, and we just kind of
real life
got in the way unexpectedly.
So we really didn't plan to miss that 1 week.
Yeah, we just couldn't line it up in that.
That's
gonna happen. But
first time the hair's down, tank top, we're rocking the tees.
It is.
New look.
Still got a hat on.
Hat guy.
Yeah, it looks like a bowling alley carpet for those that are watching.
It does look like a bowling alley.
Looking like an arcade. If you can't watch it, just look up bowling alley floor on Google, and that's what
they know what it is. Just any 90 cup, any 90 arcade, that kind of design.
Yeah. There we go. Drafted Up Podcast, guys. Thanks as always for listening, watching, whatever you guys do. We appreciate it as always. Give us a follow, like, rate, subscribe, review at @draftedup_pod on Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all that stuff. Just search Drafted Up Podcast. You'll find us. There we go. That episode's in the book. Keep trade cut. A little deep dive into how we kind of view those guys. Who'd we pick? All that kind of stuff. Come draft scenarios. And then next week, maybe we'll see you. If not, we'll be back the following week for sure. Adios, guys. We love you. Appreciate you. Thanks for listening.